So, today I want to talk to you about how to pick the right business partner because this is one of the most essential things that you will ever do as an entrepreneur. And I also want to share with you some business partner green flags to look out for, as well as red flags to avoid. My name is Jana, and I am an entrepreneur. I'm a business coach, and I'm also the author of Bedside Business Plan, which is a guided journal for entrepreneurs. So, if you're thinking about starting a business, maybe you have a business idea in your mind, maybe you're already working on something, chances are you're considering whether or not it could be right to bring on a business partner, or maybe you're currently meeting different people, or maybe you've met someone who could be a great business partner for you. But regardless of where you're at in that journey, there are some really important things to think about and consider. I personally have had a couple of business partnerships throughout my entrepreneurial journey, and one of them did not end up working out, and it was really devastating at the time for a number of different reasons. And then the business partnership that I'm in right now is actually with my brother, Brad, and we run our guided journal business together. And it's funny because lots of people will ask me what it's like being in business with a sibling. And I always tell them that it is honestly amazing because we trust each other implicitly. We have incredible communication with each other. We have the same vision for the business. We hold the same values. There's so much congruence. And then also we're perfectly different in terms of our skill sets. So really we make a dream team. But the reason I say this is because I truly know that the right business partnership, or I guess just a business partnership in general, has the power to either make or break a business, which is why it's so important to get it right from the beginning. So if you are in the process of securing a business partner for your venture or for your business, you really want to think about bringing someone on and working with someone who is going to be really congruent with you in terms of their values and their vision for the company. So I mentioned this with me and my brother, but it's really so essential to hold the same values and really be clear on how big you want to grow the business and where you ultimately want it to get to. And you also want to make sure that you are similar and even, I would say, more so compatible in terms of your personalities, right? You're going to end up spending a ton of time with this business partner. So are your personalities well matched? Do you get along well? Is this someone that you can work with and also have fun with, right? Like, is this someone that you would enjoy going out with for drinks after spending a week working really intensely on your business? These things are super, super, super important. And another thing that's important too is that your working styles are similar, or again, at least compatible. So do you both have a similar perspective on what quality work is? Are you both equally dedicated to making the business a success? And, maybe are you going to work on the business during the same times? Like, are you going to have the same schedule as entrepreneurs and work on the business together? Or maybe in some cases, it can also be beneficial to work on a business asynchronously. Maybe you're working on a business during the afternoons and your partner's working on the business in the mornings, for example. But maybe your schedules are a bit varied, and that actually works well if you're conducting business in, let's say, other parts of the world, or you're, servicing different customers in different parts of the world, things like that. But yeah, in a business partnership, you want to make sure that you're similar in the right ways and you have the same vision, the same values, the same, working styles, the same understanding of what quality work is, et cetera, et cetera. So those things are all really important to be similar on. And then also, you want to make sure that you have the appropriate differences. So even with my brother, Brad, and I, and our guided journal business, it works really good because I am someone who is the visionary of the company. I'm the creative, right? I come up with our guided journals. I create the content. I do the marketing. I do the branding. And so I keep our business expanding, and he keeps our business really grounded. So he specializes in finance and supply chain and accounting and bookkeeping and all the things that I would never want to touch. But those are his areas of specialty and also his areas of passion. So it works really well to have a business partner who fills your business gaps in a really practical and beneficial way. So those are some green flags, right? Finding a business partner who is similar in the right ways to you and also different and brings different skill sets and value and maybe even different connections to the business, right? Maybe they have a very different network than you do, and that adds a lot of richness to the business. So make sure you're well suited for each other in terms of your similarities and differences. And then also I want to talk you through some red flags to look out for in business partners. And I actually have some notes here on my phone that I'm going to reference as I talk about these. So here are some red flags that you want to be mindful of in terms of bringing on a business partner. So if you're starting to work with someone, and one other thing I want to say here too is that before you go like full throttle into business with someone, it is so essential that you test the business partnership and really get to know this person. So, for example, instead of opening a yoga studio together, I would begin with offering, a series of classes together, or maybe doing a month-long, online yoga experience, or a weekend retreat, or maybe even renting out a very temporary studio for a few months so that you can really see how you work together before you sign a bigger lease, right? And it seems obvious when I'm talking about this now, but you would be surprised how many people get into business with someone and hit the ground running without really sort of stress testing the partnership first. And I think that often happens because entrepreneurship and like a new business idea is so compelling and so exciting that it can be tempting to just go for it. But again, really take the time to test the partnership in these micro ways before you go all in together. So, red flags to look out for. As you're testing the business partnership, be aware of these things that you notice in your business partner. So, if they're flaky and have trouble keeping their commitments, that's something to note very early on, because you want a business partner that's going to be deeply committed to this business with you for the long term. You might also notice another red flag is your potential business partner avoids hard or uncomfortable conversations. I would say that the most powerful and effective business partnerships are the ones where both people come to the table and are able to have those really uncomfortable and crunchy and vulnerable conversations. And, they're willing to put their heart on the table. They're willing to say the things that feel uncomfortable. And that ultimately serves the business on a whole and makes it just such a richer experience. So you want to be with a business partner where there's no holding back. And again, a red flag might be, if you're trying to have serious conversations with your business partner, or you want to talk to them about things like finances, right? Which could be a bit sticky for people, but are completely essential in entrepreneurship. That's something to be aware of, right? Like based on how your business partner or your potential partner is reacting. How do they react when you want to have more uncomfortable conversations? Another red flag is maybe they're not able to talk about the worst case scenario. And this is so essential in entrepreneurship to think about, what's the worst that could happen so that you can actually be prepared. Another red flag, they're not willing to put the partnership in writing or have a partnership agreement. If you both implicitly trust each other, there should be no problem putting it in writing, and having something in writing is more essential than you will ever know. Also, too, another red flag might be a business partner that is overly negative, right? And working with them isn't a positive and life-giving experience. You're going to be spending so much time with this person that you want to make sure that the experience is really life-giving and supportive and just, awesome for you both. So that's another red flag. Another red flag is, maybe they're too positive, right? Like you want to be in business with someone who is realistic and who has high hopes for the future and, who sees things as expansive and, sees opportunities as endless. But you also don't want to be with someone who's naive or, too optimistic at the expense of really thinking about reality. And last but not least, another red flag is they lack healthy boundaries in their life and work, or they don't respect your boundaries. So that's what I have for you today. That's what I have in terms of business partnerships. If you have any questions, leave us a note below. We will happily get back to you and answer any questions that you have. And if you're looking for a resource to help you write a business plan and flesh out, a number of things related to business, including your marketing, including who your customers are going to be, including your business model, et cetera, our guided journal bedside business plan is actually such a great tool to help you journal a plan for your business and create a foundation for lasting success. And it's awesome because I've actually had people buy the journals before who have a business partner, and they'll buy one copy for themselves and one copy for their business partner. And then they'll work on the journal together and really flesh out a plan together, which is just awesome. So I'll pop the link for that below as well. In addition to a link to our blog, which is filled with a ton of great resource and content that is totally free to help you build a business that you love and make that transition from employee to entrepreneur.